Welcome back to State of the Nation. We're still zeroing in and looking at the seeming crisis that's brewing in Benue State as a result of the anti-open grazing bill. I'm still having with me in our Abuja studios Lawrence Onoja, is the Commissioner for Information, Benue State, and he has been since joined by Dorcas Ukwe. She's the Principal Special Advisor on Food and Nutrition Security in Benue State. I want to thank both of you for coming to this time. Let me just shift the dice a little and talk to you, Madam Ukwe, because it does seem that you and your ministry is actually in the heart of this crisis that is brewing in Benue State. What have you been able to do to quell frayed nerves? Because this has to do with nutrition as well and agriculture.
Absolutely. The visionary governor of Benue State made sure that we prepared, because it's all about food and nutrition security for Benue State and for Nigeria, and as a matter of fact, for the whole of Africa. So the sensitization started early to make sure that the people understand. One thing I'd like for our audience to understand is this is about livestock farming and crop farming. It's not about the Fulanese. His Excellency, the governor of Benue State, has a ranch. He ranches all his animals. And it's not just about cattle. It's about ranching the cattle, the goats, the pigs, the chickens, so that they do not consume their neighbors' crops. So Benue people are ranching. Everybody needs to ranch their animals. You know, we don't like to compare to America, but America started ranching, stopped open grazing in 1862. You travel around Africa, Kenya, Namibia, Zimbabwe, Swaziland, all these countries are ranching. So Nigeria is the last country in Africa to ranch animals to ensure that we begin to reach food security, because we're not until then. And also, when you look at the statistics available today, our kids are not getting adequate protein. Go to the Northeast. The number of stunted kids in the Northeast is devastating. The number of malnourished kids in the Northeast is...
I get your point.
Yes.
But how much of the Land Use Act in Benue State with regards to pastoralism has been put into this new law?
You know, there's a very recent survey that has been done. Benue State, as we all know, the land doesn't grow. The population has grown. Since the last census, 2006, the projected population of Benue State now is almost 6 million. When the Land Use Act was developed, when they made the law for the grazing routes and all of that, the population of Benue State was barely 4 million. And so there are more people, there's no more land to acquire. As the food basket of the nation, and as a nation that is struggling with malnutrition. I mean, if we ranch our cattle, we get fresh milk, we get cheese, we get more meat available to our children, we get more yogurt, we get more protein for our kids. And so it's absolutely necessary for us to ranch, not to mention the economic impact of ranching. And the livestock farmers stand to benefit more than the crop farmers, because the economic benefits of ranching, apart from the ranch, you have the standard abattoir where the meat will be processed. You have the grass that you have to grow for the cattle to eat. It's called hay. That's a whole different business.
Okay.
The transport infrastructure, once the food items are processed. So
brilliant.
You know,
I get the economies of scale.
I
get a sense of the economies of scale this can bring. But let me ask Onoja, Mr. Onoja, please talk to us more about the level of education you've been able to pass across the herdsmen before November 1, when this law came in effect.
Thank you very much. Now, I would say it's immense. This has been one of the greatest talking points of this government this year. We have gone around local governments. We have had meetings upon meetings. We have had radio programs, TV programs, on social media. Local government chairmen having meetings with even the local Fulanis in their local governments, advising them, talking with them, educating them on what this law is all about and why we need to go this way, you know. And a lot has been done in this aspect. The Ministry of Information in the States has not relented in the past over 6 months now, you know, trying to educate our people on what this law is all about and why this law has to be implemented.
But are you sustaining the education?
In terms of education, I think we did a lot.
Have you been able to sustain
that
education?
Yes, of course we have. We have. Constantly, we have. And like I mentioned earlier, even recently, because of the way we have been talking to a lot of them, I mentioned the indigenous Fulanis who have agreed to stay behind and adopt ranching. You know, it's something that has been happening across board. I myself have gone to different local governments to talk to local Fulani groups, to talk to traditional rulers and why we need peace and why the farms must be protected and why the livestock must also be protected. The truth is, we all need ourselves.
Let me put you on hold. My apologies. But there's another angle to this where the police has also responded to some of the concerns in your state. Let's quickly listen to this and I'll get your response.
Every citizen have a right to practice his own religion. We are not stopping anybody from practicing his own religion, but the Constitution gives the police commissioner power to control all the grazing procession, and by guidance of this Public Order Act, we stop them and they defied our directive and instructions.
That track was going to lead us to our next segment on the show. But I must thank you so much indeed. This is not for you at this time. I must thank you so much indeed, Dorcas Upes, the Principal Special Advisor on Food and Nutrition Security for Benue State, as well as Lawrence Onoja, is the Commissioner for Information in Benue State. Thank you so much indeed for talking to us on this all too important national concern with the advent of your anti-open grazing bill. Many thanks indeed for talking to us on State of the Nation. Let's quickly shift our focus now to some of the pressing issues. The Islamic movement of Nigeria, also known as Shiite, in Kano State, has alleged that at least 2 of its members were killed in the state. A statement signed by the spokesman for the group, Ibrahim Musa, over the weekend said that the Shiites were allegedly killed by the police officers deployed to stop the group from conducting the annual Arba'in trek. I'm now being joined on the show by Muhammad Isa. He's an Islamic Movement of Nigeria member. I want to thank you so much indeed for coming on State of the Nation at this time. Could you tell us categorically, are you sure that your members, 2 of them you say, were actually attacked and killed by the police? If you can hear me, Muhammad Isa, I was just asking you, are you sure that the Nigerian police killed 2 of your members today?
Hello, I can't hear.
We seem to be having a situation getting an Islamic Movement of Nigeria member, but you do know, of course, that that debate on whether or not El Zakzaki should be freed from the government's detention is one that has come one time too many, and people are really concerned, especially members of the Shiite movement. They've had staged protests in Kaduna. They've staged protests in many states in the northern part of the country, asking that their leader and his wife be released. Up to this time, the government has not come out to say a word on whether or not that release will come through. But you did hear the Nigerian police force, the representative there, who said that everyone has the right to freedom. Everyone has a right to practice his or her own religion. So where does that lead us to next? When will the government speak about this? That's the question on the minds of many. That's how it's been on State of the Nation. Many thanks for watching. Join us tomorrow for a fresh package. I am Gimba Omar. Bye for now.